Hello and welcome back to Google API. Google APIs for us, that's the old slogan. Hello and welcome back to Google.rs, it's Byron speaking. I mean, you read it everywhere, what can I say? I have to say it. Google.rs, because that's far fetchier, and even though I'm not going to rename it, I'm just gonna call the project like that. And I will seriously consider the name of future projects as well, just to make them a bit, more compatible. Easier to speak about them. Okay, so this is maybe the last ticket for today because I've been working off ticket for quite a while and I realized, damn it, why do you do that? Isn't it your thing to stream everything? And then I thought to myself, well, but this is kind of background work and it's not really related to the project, but a little bit. After all, what I want to do is the following. So I've got scripts already, the EOSX or the deploy meant line of scripts, which allows me to, it's kind of duplicated, you see this here, but anyway, I wanted to have this done. This allows me to build everything and then collect the build results depending on the type, like debug or release, and put it into a accordingly named tar file that I can then upload to the VPS where it will be hosted. Problem is the VPS can't build all of these projects, and it takes a long time for that. So I usually don't do release builds in the cloud. Instead, I just put it onto my own local machine, which is faster after all, like probably 5 times faster, and upload the result. Because then I at least know that this will work, because my local virtual machine that I have here has much more memory, which is totally required to do anything related the build process. Like 3-4 gigabyte you easily need for DFA reporting to work, for instance, and it takes a long time as well. All right, so the thing is that after you've got the star file that you've uploaded, you basically want to put it into the right spot, and that's all there is to it. And the right spot, I think I have to be rude to show that one off. Let's get out of this mux here and become a very privileged user. If I can manage to hack my account, I could. Awesome. So in var www downloads, they're all the downloads that I currently host. Google APIs RS is going to be removed. That's still the old one that GitHub links to in the release section. I will remove that intermediate release and replace it with a new one. That will just have the downloads right here. Google.rs, CLI, there's a namespace here for other program types, because that's what Google.rs could possibly be one day. And then the current version of the command line tools. It's kind of a pre-release version. I want to release it now because that's still with a non-release compiler. And I have to stabilize this and recompile with 1.0 as 1.0. That's the plan. So here we go. Then there's OS X Ubuntu, and that's it. So what I want to do is, I don't care about the type of the thing, like debug or release, because binary is binary after all. I compile in the background. I do hope that my editor will allow me to do some work here at some point. So what I want is, I want to get an input, which is the respective tar file, any tar file, and then the information about the OS name. So we go with tar file, where its first argument must be the tar file produced by any of the deploy scripts. I hope that works, but I think that will not be substituted inside of a variable here. I don't think so. If so, I will find out. I think I will just write this in the code, then push it, and then finish it up on the server as needed. And the second argument is the OS name. Is the OS name on which the contents of the tar file was produced? Well, I could go with IE because currently there's only OS X and Ubuntu. And that's that. So cool. I think, oh yeah, and the third one should be the destination dir. Third argument is the root path of the download directory. This time it's an EG, but that's the case for me. And from here, I will just proceed. Google.rs. I will not assume the project name at all. Oh wait, I should assume the project name because this is something that is being generated by me for now. So if you look at this recently uploaded updated help, you see that Google.rs is part of the download link. So this DL Byronimo DE translates to var www downloads in my case, but I'm setting the script up so that it's generic and everybody can use it, possibly. And obviously, I also have to write about the deployment cycle. So this should be part of this ticket as well. I should show how to deploy and how to do it then, what the steps are. Not because I couldn't remember it, but actually because I probably at some point can't remember how I did it and how to use these scripts. So it's really, really, really important to actually do this. The changelog is here. README, the primary README file is here. And where is it? Adding news, updating cross-platform compilation. Yeah, I should have a new thing here that says deployment. Boom. Good. So what we do is we basically just create the... What's this? That's a base directory, maybe? Base dir. And then we can create the destination. And I shall not assume a slash here. And then the dest dir is base dir. I know that I don't have to use these, but I kind of like it. I don't know. My style changed when it comes to that. I now prefer to be very explicit about the variable names that are supposed to be substituted. Then we go with Google.rs because that's part of the deal. Then it's, the program type. Program type. And now everything is offset here. 3, 4. Second. You know what? This annoys me. Let's not do this. Usually I don't do this anyway, but I thought, okay, it's here already. Let's do it. Is the name, is the type of the program contained in the tar file. Well, let's call it EG because I don't know if there will be any more in future. Maybe I should call it EG as well. Here, and there we go with CLI. That's the only thing I support right now. So program type. Then we've got the version, right? I have to. Yeah, program type. Then it's the version that I also don't have. Program type, version. For. Yeah, I make the script stupid. I just want to encode what has to be done and kind of automate that. And that's usually a good way to do it. It's not nice because I could just parse back the information which is contained in the tar file and basically obtain it from there, which would be much more comfortable, but it's not really a good comfort here. And also I don't really know how to do this in a bash, and I don't want to start using sed and stuff. Maybe AWK could be a friend there, but I never really used it. And I also think, well, probably I would use Python for that, but I don't want to have, yet another scripting language here, and yeah, forget it. I just do it as I do it in a dumb way, but at least it works. So program version is 3 now. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jesus Christ. That's already the limit of how many arguments you should have for an invocation, but I think we are done here. The version, My CPU is maxed out. Yeah. It's not following up anymore. Have to wait. That's all I can do here. The version, see, I think now it's back. The program version contained in the tar file. So, program type, version, base tier program type, version, and then OS name. And we are there, and inside of this directory, we will create, I think you have to be root to do this, but I will not enforce it. So we create the destination directory. If that worked fine, we create the destination directory. And then we jump there. And untar the tar file. And that's really it. So we go with tar, extract, zipped, I assume it's zipped. Verbose, yeah, I think we want to go with verbose. Verbose file and then the tar file. Or exit, huh? And if that did work, extracted programs from to dest-dir. So that should be that's really the core of the script, right? Lots of data acquisition, a little bit of work, and a little bit of bail out if something doesn't work. So the user should check the return value of that thing. But yeah, that should already be it. And let's write down the information so far, because the script itself is not going to change. There might be a bug in here. I didn't even run it after all, but I will see. Oh, it's also an error of mine. It's sh, but actually I use bash, right? And that's not quite the same either. So I should probably rename these or see if a shell also works. Yeah, so here I'm doing a release build for OS X with the latest version. But what I want to do is I think I would like to push this to get it to work. But I don't want to push that. I don't want to push it to the README. I'm not on a branch here. So yeah, let's look it up. Let's see how that currently looks like. Yeah. This is my YouTube workflow explained in 6 minutes, just ad hoc, nothing scripted or anything. I just thought, well, I cut it a tiny bit, but besides that, it was pretty much live. And I do hope that by now there is the 1080p 60 version. There it is. So I'm going to post this on a YouTube Reddit just to see what people have to say about that workflow. Let's see. Let's get feedback. And that's where you want to be. But I would like to do this while people can still click this thing here. Right now this is all, it's all not there, but I want to have the debug version there, the old debug version there at least. All right. So here, the README file. What do we have? Developer diary, episode 2, build instructions, using make parallel job execution, cross-platform compilation. Is there also a top level that I have here? Build instructions, deployment. Yeah. The deployment process is not very automated, but this, paragraph shall document the steps required to obtain a release build on various platforms and distribute and deploy them. So what do we do? Well, I did it all, and I can't even remember. Yeah, so this includes documentation. Yeah, I guess. And this includes the cargo publish. So how do we go with it? We assume, well, we don't assume anything. So to make a new release, first you set up API and CLI version numbers. And what's my style here? All lowercase except for the first one? No, kind of all uppercase. I don't like it. Let's keep it lowercase. So that's the first thing. Then once you have it, you wanna I think you want to put the code in because that's not going to change. But that might be part of this previous cycle here, or this previous setup. So we make a commit accordingly. Then build documentation and post it onto GitHub. This might be something you actually want to do last to assure that you don't have a non-working version in the meanwhile. I think that's a smart thing, even though I'm not smart and I didn't do it that way, just because I thought, well, why would I bother? This should be last, because this documentation index, it should be well fed beforehand. Version numbers, then publish API to cargo. So first we set the version numbers and do some check-in, maybe some commit. Then we publish to cargo, build instructions comes last. Then we build, compile, release, build on all platforms. Then once we have that, we upload. Yeah, there's a deployment server. So this is the deployment phase basically. Deploy, build artifacts. Let's call them like that. I like the word build artifacts on VPS. So I just make this a VPS based workflow because that's how we are. We host on CDN. Let's call it CDN because it's some content delivery network. I just use a single computer for it that sits in the cloud, but you could obviously do anything you want. Build documentation and post it onto GitHub is the last thing that you want there. Okay, cool. I think that's the steps. Yeah. I would like to, okay, let's take it like this. I will not push this one. I will just push the script here. Voila. And this is related to 107, huh? Yeah. Related to 107. Feature. It's more like chore. Deployment. Script to deploy for download. A fully untested utility script allows to unpack a tar file previously created from the deployed or this H scripts to a suitable location to be compatible with the download links we generate generate in the index, in the documentation index. This is pretty much it. We want to skip CI and push that thing to the server so that we can have a look. Good. Yeah, I'm just going to do this in this shell here. Is this big enough? Maybe like this. Good. And it's dev rust Google APIs. Let's get the latest. So we now have the script. I think I also want to chmod this. I guess I also have to adjust it a bit to make it work for us. But this here, the chmod is part of the adjustment. So Linux deployment, voila. And I wonder, should I hide these files from plain sight, or should I just put them into the source somewhere? Good question. What if I would want to have source bash? I could have source bash, huh? And just drop it there. Now that I will do this before I write the documentation, but I think I will move these here because there are so many of them now, and they kind of show up anyway. So it's xdeploy, Linux deployment to downloads, Linux deploy, Docker build CLI, all this stuff. And for Docker build CLI, I think I will have to adjust the makefile as well. I think so, yeah. But that's fine. I shall do that, no big deal. Good, so now we can use the ./.linux deploy meant to download for the first time and let it guide us. So the tar file is actually, and we have to sudo this. Ah, man. Nah. There we go. And now I have to go there again. Oops. Home, Byron, dev, rust, Google. Good. And now from here, actually could have executed it there as well, but hey. Linux deployment to downloads. First one is the tar file, which shall be at downloads, Google.rs APIs, and here we have multiple of these. Let's go with the Linux version first. We have Linux release. What is this? It's CLI. I don't know, is this complete? I think it is complete. Linux 64 release tar. It's a CLI. The program version, it's it's actually 0.1, but I'm not going to distribute it. I just sneak it in as 0.2. And I think it doesn't want to have the V, which is important here. And also, I guess I will change this to have an example. So as to not to contain a V there in the example. And then we have OS name, which is Ubuntu. And the base tier, which is var ww downloads, like this. So that should already do something. And does. That's very nice. Let's have a look. I just want to make sure that this is actually readable. Oh, it's Byron. Yeah, I think this is readable. So now I should be able to download stuff from the website here. If I click this button, I get something. That's very nice. Just randomly downloading. Give me... for YouTube 3 is not found. I think that's the selected stuff there. Yeah, YouTube isn't there yet. So let's take the selected ones. These are the big ones, the selected ones. Google APIs RS. Selected, what's that? Linux 64. So that one should yield the missing ones. It does. So now I have YouTube as well. And the first part of the initial download is there at least. That's very nice. So the second one shall just be OS X. OS X, here we go. Google APIs. CLI. Oops. Difficult with the line break. CLI V. I don't know what comes there. Let's start again. V 1.0. Okay. Then release. No, OS X. Release tar. Okay, that's the one. That's for OS X now. Bada boom. Oops. That's not the same. The OS X version contains path apparently. Does it? Okay. I will have to fix that. Now I have to fix it after the fact, which is kind of annoying. Okay, so I will just keep going. We'll bring in the selected ones. No, wait, that's containing YouTube already. So I think that's complete. Yeah, let's go there. It told me to put them in there. And in fact, it has a subdirectory for this. Why is that? Yeah, so they should be plain here. Here's the OS X deploy. And it might have been an old file, you know that? I think I created this file manually back then, and this is why it's still kind of wrong. Yeah, but from what I see here, I think we are good. We do an exarch, put it into a destination directory, then we cd. Oh. Actually, the dest-dir. Oops. We just go to build, and then the tar base name is the destination dir. See? So here it is. Here it happens. And I think we wanna go into dest-dir. Yeah. So two things to fix. I will fix them down here. Oh, here it is. The version. I have to say that it's supposed to be e.g. 0.2.2. No leading V. Yes, just to be sure. And on that side here, we want to go into dest-dir. Oops, like this. See, this kind of stuff doesn't happen if you know that you want to have curly braces all the time. Yeah. Dest-dir, then we are here and we actually want to take the entire contents. No, wait, that's the output tar file. We create a tar file, and here we just do a shell expansion to all the files that we've just been copying there. Yep, that's that. And that's in a subshell. Oh, so that's important. This would be executed, this would be evaluated here by our own shell. And we have to bring that star, that asterisk, into the subshell. And I wonder, let's see how tar is behaving. So if I just do it without specifying a file, what does it do? So here, tar create visible file foo.tar. I don't compress this for performance, and I don't specify anything. What happens? Okay. Cowardly refusing to create an empty archive, so I have to specify something here. So let's be cowardly asking Google for how this should be best escaped, because I really don't know. Maybe a backslash will do. Bash escape asterisk character. Yeah, I think with a backslash. Or a string. Ah, cool. Oh, it's not enough. You need to quote the variable reference as well. Oh, no, wait. That is enough in my case. So I want to quote this. And this should bring it through my parent shell and put it as plain text into the subshell where it will be substituted as usual. So this should work here and create a proper deployment script or a proper tar file. So bang, that's a little fix and not, yeah, fix. I call it fix deployment OS X tar files without directory. Previously, they contained a directory, contained the parent directory, which wasn't intended and was different from the plain layout dictated by the Linux version of the script. So there it shows how bad it is to have two different versions. But unfortunately, the find call is not the same. This is why I have to do different versions, or I just go with one. But I thought, okay, on Linux I can be more efficient. On Linux I can do it basically without copying these files. I just find them and bang them into the tar file, transforming the path accordingly. And in OS X, I can't get this to work, unfortunately. So I have to do the copying that I just don't want to do on the server. Maybe I should, as to not have to deal with two files. Oh my god, now it's really, really slow again. And we shall skip CI. There we go. Good, so that is that. Pushing that is not really required because I already set up my downloads here to the point where I think every link that I provide will work. So it's about 500, I think it will be about 600 megabyte for the release version for 0.2. I will just overwrite these files later once I have the build artifacts. Right now I don't even have them. So what's the time saying? Ah, damn it. I have a timer here that I should have started, I suppose. I think at about 5 I started. Yeah, so I have to do the documentation now. And I will do this on camera because it is, you know, it is what I do after all. Let's think hard. And writing real text while talking is not easy. Also, just watching this, I think I'm happy with that. And then I will kick in the build process to get the release done as fast as possible and max out my machine. But not now, because I still have to use my machine here. So, the version numbers for the respective program types are set in etc API type and then whatever type you have. In etc API type YAML, where resolves to the supported program types being CLI and API at the time of writing. Well, you can change the version by editing the respective. I don't refer to the key by name because I want to be able to change this. The more linkage I have, the worse. You can change the version by editing the respective key. You can change the version for all created well, I don't know, for all expected artifacts by editing the respective key inside of the YAML, being, let's say what it is at the time of writing to protect against like invalidation, being cargo build version. Build version at the time of writing. And then we regenerate. I think I would regenerate all the code just to see if it really works, and then push it to the server. Following script would, well, yeah, what about CLI tagging? Right now I didn't even tag the CLI just yet, even though I'm already building it. So I guess I might want to do this. Let's tag all of the things. Yeah, let's just regenerate all and be happy. The following script would regenerate all higher level programs, CLI, add the result to Git and push it. So let's see how that would look like. Make gen all all CLI, huh? Let's see. Yeah. Make gen all CLI. Then we go with, oh yeah, like this. Git add current directory. Git commit let's store version up. Edit code for latest version. And last but not least, git tag. I think the API and stuff, I could tag later as well. And it doesn't really matter where exactly you tag it because there are multiple related commits that have to be done one after another. But yeah, I think I will just go ahead and tag them all. Git tag API v your API version. I hope this doesn't get substituted or anything. And then CLI v CLI version. And then I think we just push this. Git push tags origin master. There we go. There we have the tags. Then publishing the crates is the next step. Before anything else happens. Oh yeah, sure, clog. We generate everything. Then we set up clog set version be, yeah, use the version you are comfortable with in the changelog. Sometimes you only want to update. Well, actually, when the API version updates, you have to recompile the CLI, and it needs. Actually, the CLI wouldn't need a new version. You still wanted to recompile it, though. Yeah, but probably you want to recompile it just just to get the latest fixes in the API. Yeah, so after all, it doesn't really matter. Name it as you like. Let's name it with the multi version. Use the version you're comfortable with and change it. Sometimes you only want to update one program type. Here we go with a multi version containing all version strings in one heading. It's just for the visuals after all. Good. So here we set the CPU is maxed out once again. Compilation enters a critical phase, and now I can't do anything. Let's have a look. Yeah, so whenever it starts a new thing, things go crazy. By the way, can I use the URL shortener? Does this work? Just interested. That's the old version, obviously. Downloads URL. That's weird. Where's my URL shortener? Oh. Ah, there it is. But I can't execute it, huh? Maybe it's what the browser does. It doesn't allow execution of arbitrary binaries you download from the internet. Makes sense. Maybe I want to tar them. And maybe that's the next step. Actually, I think I want to tar them, which also requires me to rebuild the entire documentation index, but well, that's how it is. I want to tar them to make sure I get the executable bit set. URL lists. Okay, I'm not authorized to request the scopes URL shortener. Fine. URL get short URL. Okay, maybe. Yeah, let's have a look. Google. That's a Google URL shortener. What do you say? Because I know it knows me. Oh, goo.gl. Haha. So let's give it the short URL then. Maybe it's just the ID that matters. Okay, so it doesn't want my scope here. Maybe the API is not authorized. Well, fine, fair enough. Okay, forget it. Just a little test to distract me. So I want to have tar files, tar.gz files for download. Also reduces download size. I think it's a good idea to have that. So let's have that. And then it gets a bit more interesting to have that in a script, because then we can unpack the executables and basically repack them, removing the original, and so on. So what else? So here we set the version. Where do we do the git add? We do it a bit too early. So the git add goes here. Now we have the changelog set, and do a commit and tag and push. Okay, so here we are done. Before anything else happens, be sure we are up to date with, or we publish the latest APIs to Cargo. So that's just a simple script that says make publish API, I think. Let's check it. Make help. Help API has this. I think that's the only thing that has it. It's publish API, yes. make publish API. There we go. The previous call will have created plenty of marker files which need to be committed to the repository to prevent to attempt multiple publishes of the same version. That's why this is there for. And I don't know why I'm all of a sudden not using my space anymore. Let's do it like that. Also, please try, yeah, actually I do this here. Another attempt to do this should not do actual work. Sometimes uploads fail and you want to be sure this didn't happen to you. All clear? Please proceed. Yeah, so that's kind of important because that's an error-prone process and you definitely want as many publishers to work as possible. We want as many publishers to work as possible. -K, keep going. Keeps going on error. Yeah. Oops. Sometimes uploads fail. Spuriously, and just needs to be retried. Okay. Good. The previous same version. So we basically commit this and we are done. Git add dot and then git commit -m. It's once again chore cargo publish latest version to crates.io. That is that. And git push origin master. There we go. Cool. Release build on all platforms. That's the next thing. It's actually quite easy. Yeah, so please repeat the, please apply. Oh. Apply the following script to your build systems. Currently it differentiates between Linux and OS X. So now I start with the build scripts and I said that I would like to have these in source bash. So let's have it, source bash. And we can move that stuff there and make it less hidden. And I also call it bash now. So that kind of fixes it, fixes all the aspects that weren't really working there. And I wonder why this bash is red all of a sudden. Is it smart enough to realize that this is an empty folder or that this is not in Git yet? I don't know. So linux-deploy.bash. There we go. Good move. Docker build CLI. Let's check the make file for this Docker thing. Docker build CI to source bash docker build CLI .bash. There we go. Oops. Good move. What else? There is, oops. OS X deploy and Linux deployment, and then we are done. source osx deploy.bash. Also, I want to see hmod this. I'll just verify this once I have copied everything, once I've moved everything. And then we go with Linux deployment source bash. And then it's Linux deploy, what? Linux deployment to downloads. I have a lot of sun in here, I hardly see what I'm typing. Deployment to downloads.bash, like this. Cool. Oops. So now we should have no local script here anymore, which I very much appreciate. Then there's this Docker stuff going on here. Where's the shell script? Let's search it like that. Ah, yeah. So now this has changed. So this is source bash docker build dot bash. Okay, let's verify it's all executable. That's the Linux deployment bash that should be executable. All right. So here we are fine as well. That's the only bash script I use from within the shelf, within the make file. And I don't really use Docker for the build anyway, because I don't want Wheezy. I want Ubuntu LTS 12. Let's get rid of these ones, which now have been renamed. Also that I don't need, and that. Oh no, CLI Pi. I came to like to have it there. Good. Oh, the bash file wants to be added because I can't do this, unfortunately. There we go. The make file as well. And the README is still in progress. Cool. So now I can refer to it accordingly. Here in my script, apply the following to your build platforms. So what we want to do is make cargo CLI. We use the CLI program type, but it could be any type that builds a binary, just in case this is not clear. So we go with args, and then we say build release, and that will do the release build for us. J for parallelize with J, but prepare for occasionally failed builds due to out of memory situations or cargo interfering with itself. You might have to run this multiple times, thus -k. Also adjust -j to suit the capabilities of your machine. There we go. And that's really it. And then finally gather the build result by executing the respective utility script. Based on, oh look, latest API. Based on the platform you build on. Depending on the platform you build on, like this. So we go with source bash, and then it's Linux deploy.bash. Let's do it like this. Or source bash osx deploy .bash. And I guess the user will be able to follow the on-screen requests for the input. I don't want to replicate this here just because it's redundant, which will eventually be false information if the script changes. So I hope at least the names here will not change. So depending on the platform you're built on, blah, 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 and that's it. Cool. And deploy build artifacts. Yeah. The previous step. Yeah. At the end of this step, you will have tar files which contain all build artifacts. For deployment on a CDN. Good. Deploy build artifacts on CDN. That's the next step. And I guess you wanna upload this somewhere. Yeah, you wanna upload this somewhere. And with the build documentation, I will be very sure that I let the people know where the root URL is documented, so that they can change it in their case. I think it's shared.yaml. Download base URL. That's the important one. All right. Here we copy the tar files onto the CDN or VPS you are using and apply a script to place it at the right spot for the download. Oh, no. Okay, so it's freaking out again because it's starting a new build. So this kind of overlocates resources here because Cargo works with 8 processes and I just have 4 logical one, and this kind of stresses the machine so much with 8 Rust Cs running in parallel that for a moment, you know, at least the Sublime text doesn't work anymore. I guess this is because the plugin containers that are at work there are background processes. They're in their own process just to separate it from the primary process. And they might be in background mode to not consume so much cycles. And this kind of puts them, you know, this starves them basically and makes the editor look very slow. But now we are already back. It's just a kind of first 20 seconds of a new build. So where were we? And apply a script to place it at the right spot for the download. Good. So I think I'm gonna go for bash here, scp the tar file to, I think it's targz, to user at your CDN or vps.org. Let's go with org. And then on the CDN, you want to execute the deployment script. The following example assumes a valid login with sufficient rights to write the files. So here we go, bash. And then it's just as simple as source bash. Oops, where is it? Linux deployment to downloads.bash. That's that. Looks this script requires you to type in information already contained in the tar file. It's easy to do though. Yeah, and then last but not least, we have to build the documentation. So wait, now the programs have been placed in the right spot to be downloadable. Okay, it doesn't know that, doesn't matter. To be downloadable from the documentation index, which is build next, posted onto GitHub. Yeah, the last step will update the documentation index to point to the latest program versions. Yeah, that's pretty much it. For now, we assume hosting on GitHub pages, but the compiled documentation directory can be hosted statically anywhere if required. Please note that the generated download URLs are based on the HTML index download base URL key in the etc API shared YAML file in case you want to host anywhere else. To host the downloads anywhere else, in the latter case, you may want to adjust other base URLs as well. Good. So in order to do this, all you have to do basically is to call make gh pages. Do I call it gh pages or GitHub pages? Make GitHub pages. And you're done. This will run rustdoc on all APIs, generate the index HTML file, and run gh import at the end. The latter might require user input in case no credentials are set up. Yeah, I don't know how this works, because for me locally it remembered the credentials and can just upload as at will, and on the server it doesn't. So maybe I did something special to it to remember this. Maybe I configured it and didn't do this in my version on the server. Yeah, it's quite a bunch of documentation. I didn't expect that. Preview. And there we go. Deployment. Yeah. Looks good. Yeah, and it's good. Definitely good to have. Good to see it. Maybe I wanna, or maybe I wanna make this a bit more prominent. So we have a pseudo code anyway. So I might as well make it very visible. Or let's do it like this. What about that? preview. There we go. Boom, boom. It's a big README file, but I like to document the workflow, especially since it's not super trivial to do that actually. And you wanna know it for yourself. Oh, build. Here's a double I in there, in a headline. That's not a good thing. Anything else that strikes me as red or invalid? Just looking at the autocorrection here. Yeah, maybe this is between Linux and OS X. Good, I think that's it. So let's do it in 2 stages. So first the renames, which is, what is this? Is it shore? Bash move all scripts into source bash. That way they are more official than hidden scripts dumped in the project root. Thank you, skip CI, totally so. And now last but not least, docs readme. Detailed instructions for detailed deployment instructions. That works. And that's really it. That's all there is to say about that, I guess. Related to 107. 107 and skip CI, please. Cool. So now I'm happy with that. I'm quite happy with that. Anything else? No, not really. The next one obviously is to make tar.gz files, but I will do this in the next session. And then hopefully not forget to start the timer. We just have to get used to the new workflow, and yeah, it's gonna happen. So thanks for watching and have a great day.